This is the Sun conjunct Venus in Synastry. This is my astrology Synastry series. Astrologically, the Sun and Venus are enemies. I have observed that sadly most people love the enemies to lovers trope in books and in real life. In other words, the love-hate relationship dynamics are sought and played out very often. The same concept can be said for haters who are really fans. Those haters really love you, but they can't compete. Their ego is unable to express their admiration and/or attraction for you. Therefore, logically, they must resort to hating you. This will always be the problem whenever the Sun, in other words, someone's ego, is in the mix of synastry. The ego is very destructive and competitive in a negative sense. The ego wants to be the beginning and the end. The ego has demands and expects them to be met with no regard to who it kills, hurts, and destroys. The ego wants all the attention and all their needs to be met, except they're not needs. In fact, the ego avoids everything they need in lieu of what they want. And unfortunately, this is common. This is a very common theme for those who have Sun conjunct Venus in Synastry. The Sun person is attracted to the Venus person because he or she appears to share the same values in addition to looking exactly how the Sun person wants. The Sun person is more sexually attracted to the Venus person. Venus looks exactly how the Sun person likes, no matter what. Venus can gain weight, lose a tooth, or have funky genitals. However, the Sun person will still desire the Venus person, always. As for the Venus person, he or she is attracted to the Sun person because of how they act like the Venus person's type. Example, if the Sun is in Cancer, conjunct Venus in Cancer, Venus likes how the Sun person acts nurturing, caring, sensitive, and thoughtful, standoffish, like a homebody. And if they were to have children, Venus loves how the Sun person cares for their child or children. Venus, quote unquote, loves that the Sun person cooks, works hard, and acts responsible, and is always concerned with stability. The Sun person is attracted to the Venus person because he or she likes everything that the Sun person, does. The Sun person feels like their ego is stroked very well by the Venus person, and in turn, the Sun person loves the Venus person. So you may ask, where is the problem with the synastry aspect? The problem therein lies in the fact that the Sun person does not know, understand, or value, or express true love. The ego does not know or feel comfortable with unconditional love as it is much concerned with validation. As much as it's concerned with validation. Venus does not express unconditional love either. Venus is all about appearances, pleasure, sex, finances, and overall a good time. Both the Suns are incapable of giving, expressing, or having genuine love on an emotional level. Both may claim to love each other. However, it's very conditional and contingent on how much validation the Sun person receives and how much the Venus person can benefit from the Sun person. The Sun person will stay wherever they get attention. So the Venus person will more than likely be the one to end the relationship or cause the most drama because Venus wants physical benefits. The Venus person will always give attention, validation, sex, or whatever in excess to the Sun person so long as he or she gives the Venus person something back. Back to the example of the Sun in Cancer conjunct Venus in Cancer. Venus in Cancer person will be attracted to the way the Sun person cares for their child or children. However, if he or she doesn't get their own children out of the synastry, Venus will revoke sex or attention. If the Sun in Cancer person is always working, the Venus person will want to be spoiled financially, or else he or she will get dramatic and revoke validation privileges. In general cases, sex and attention or whatever the person values, the Sun person values, will be revoked. Now, another problem depending on the sign, but especially with the example given of Cancerian energy, it's loving and caring. However, if Venus tries to be nurturing, loving, and deep, this will turn the Sun person off or make them become distant. If the Sun person tries to exude Cancerian traits, Venus will become turned off. If either planet tries to express their energy in a more authentic and deep manner, it will inadvertently turn the other person off and cause drama with unconscious intent to bring it back to the surface. What I've just described is when one or the other attempts to exert their moon placement energy into the mixture, and that's a big no. If you recall, I mentioned above that the Sun, the ego, will always forego what they need for what it is that they want. The moon and its energy represents need. In simpler terms, those with this synastry, quote unquote, love each other only if things stay on the surface. Anytime the moon or emotions get involved, this is when they begin to, quote unquote, hate and or avoid each other. This will unconsciously do something they know the others will not like not giving money or giving sex, and this will cause drama, a separation, and then a reunion. Whenever you make up with someone, everyone is on their best behavior and trying to keep the peace, but if you think about it, that's the surface. Again, when these two get emotions involved and are quote unquote forced to show the love that they've been claiming they've had for one another, a fight, a disagreement will break out, and then they're back to square one on the surface. These two want drama because it creates the illusion of getting closer and having deep feelings for one another, but it's just appearances. When these two try to make up, Venus will go above and beyond to stroke the sun person's ego. In turn, the sun person will act like the person Venus wants until feelings get involved again. If these two break up, they will not be emotionally affected by it like that. Their egos won't allow it. Sure, they'll miss each other, but what they miss is the attention, power, control, sex, and the presence of each other, not necessarily emotionally, because they've been trying to maintain emotional distance in the first place. They won't be able to admit this fact to themselves, but it's very true. The entire scenario would be different. It would be a different story if maybe the moon was conjunct Venus. However, it's not. This synastry reminds me of celebrities who have good-looking partners for that purpose only. They are there to have fun, sex, travel, and to play the part. Just make sure Venus is benefiting out of the deal and the sun is getting their attention. I think of Mayweather and his exotic girlfriends. They make him look good and stroke his ego. Meanwhile, he spoils them financially. Everyone wins, hence the competition I mentioned earlier. Now, if Mayweather stops spending money on them, I can bet you that they will revoke access to them, okay? Then he would just go find someone else. They're not emotionally invested, even if they appear to be, okay, with this synastry aspect. Do I think this synastry is compatible? I think it is on a surface level, to each his own. All right. A lot of people don't want anything serious. Okay. So this aspect, synastry aspect would work well for those who don't want anything serious. But others of you who do want something serious and you share this aspect with someone, I don't think it would work out. At that point, it wouldn't be compatible at all. But even if you did have this synastry, you wouldn't want anything deep either. So I think it could work out. I really do, whatever floats the boats. Anyways, this is my synastry series. This is the Sun conjunct Venus.